Hello everyone, welcome back to our Java tutorial series. In this video, we will learn about method overloading in Java. So it is one of the most important features of object-oriented programming. We will understand what method overloading is, why it is useful, what are the rules, and we'll see different examples. So let's get started. So what is method overloading? Method overloading means creating multiple methods with the same name in the same class but with different parameters list. Okay, so method overloading allows us to use the same method. Okay, same method, multiple methods with the same name. Okay, so same method name for different tasks. So instead of creating methods like add two numbers, add three numbers, add double numbers, okay, we can simply use one method name add and we can overload that method. Okay, so for example, we have method add. Okay, now let's say we want to add two numbers and add three numbers. Okay, two numbers and three numbers. So this is the requirement. We want to add two numbers and we want to add three numbers. So what we will do, we will define two methods. Add two numbers. This will be one method. Then again, second method, add three numbers. Then this will be second method. So instead of doing these things, what we can do? We can define one method and we can use this method for both two number, three numbers. Okay, so for two requirement, we can define with the one method name. Method name will be same. Okay, and we will define the similar method with the same name, but here number of parameters will be different. For 2 we will define 2 parameters. For 3 we will define 3 parameters, but method name will be same. So method overloading means creating multiple methods. Okay, we created two methods for two requirements. Creating multiple methods with the same name. Name will be same. And in the same class. In the same class, we need to define these two methods, but with different parameters list. So for adding two numbers, we provided two parameters. And for adding three numbers, we provided three parameters. Okay. Now the compiler decides which method to call based on arguments passed. So compiler will decide whenever this is what method definition, right? So when we will call this method add, now we are calling method, then how compiler will decide which method to call, because both method have the same method name. Now compiler will confuse like, okay, which method to call. It has defined two methods and method call is happening. So what compiler will do? Compiler will check, okay, method name is same. Okay, now it will look for parameters. How many parameters it has been provided in the method, in the arguments. So let's say I have provided two arguments. Okay, then compiler will check which method has two parameters. Okay, so it will execute this method. And let's say if we provide three arguments, then compiler will check the first method name. Okay, two methods, no problem. Then it will check for arguments. How many arguments? Okay, three arguments. Then it will go for this one. So compiler decides which method to call based on the arguments passed. So compiler will automatically select the correct version. Okay. Now, why method overloading? Imagine the println method. Okay, we use for printing, right? So in that method remains the same. So we can use it for string, int, double, boolean, char. So the method name will remain same. This is possible because of method overloading. Okay. So it improves the code readability. If we are using method overloading, the concept of method overloading, it will increase the method readability, code readability, and we can reuse the same method name. We will reuse the same method name and the number of parameters will be different based on our requirement. So what it will do, it will reduce the code duplication. Okay, easier to use. It makes APIs easier to use. API will understand later. Just for now, you can think like we will be building in the coming lectures APIs. So there we will use method overloading. So it is easier to use. Okay, and it provides compile time polymorphism. Okay, so method overloading, we are creating methods. Int x, comma, int y. Okay, this is one method. This is another method with 3 parameters. This is what method definition. Method with the same name but different parameters. Then we are calling method. So based on the argument list. So here we have 3 argument list. Arguments. So based on the arguments we are passing in the method, it will call that particular method. Here 3 parameters. So it will call this method, not this one. Okay. So when it will happen? When the compiler will check and get to know which method to call out of these 2. So it happens during compile time. During compilation, compiler will check these things. What is the method name? How many arguments? Which method to call? So everything will happen during compile time, and during compile time only compiler will get to know, okay, we need to execute this method. Okay, that's why it is compile time polymorphism. Polymorphism we'll understand later in the video in detail, but for now you can understand like one method with many forms. Okay, we'll understand this thing later, but for now you understand like during compile time compiler get to know which method to call. Okay, now before moving to rules, we'll just see in IntelliJ some example for better clarity. So what we are learning, method overloading, the concept of method overloading. Now let's say we are defining some methods. Okay, let's say we will define some method. So let's say int add 2 numbers. Okay, so by name of the methods it is clear that we will be adding 2 numbers. So how many parameters? Int a comma int b, 2 parameters. Since we are adding 2 numbers, what we will return, since return type is integer, see, check the return type, int. So what we will return, adding a plus b. Since a and b are integer type, it will return integer type. Okay, this is one method. Now again I will define one more method, static int add 3 numbers. 3 numbers means how many parameters? A comma int, B comma int, C. Oh, space. Now what we'll do in this, what will return, what is the return type of this method? Int. Okay, we'll add A plus B plus C. So our intention, our requirement is to add 2 numbers and add 3 numbers. So for these 2 requirements, we created 2 methods with different names. Okay, this is without overloading. Okay, we are seeing without overloading how we implement. So without overloading, we need to add 2 different method names. So this will increase complexity and makes code harder to remember. Okay, so this is example without overloading. Now we will see with overloading. So what we will do for overloading? So instead of keeping 2 different names, we will make it same. What method name? So this is method overloading. We have kept the name of the method same for both. Okay, so here both methods have the same name. The only difference is the number of parameters. Here it is 2, here it is 3. So the compiler identifies which version to execute based on the parameters. Okay, so let's say if we call the method, how do we call the method? Method call. We do method call by method name and arguments. So let's say 10 comma 20 comma 30. So now during compile time only, compiler is knowing which method to call. How? See, it is showing 1 usage, it is showing no usage. So during compile time only, compiler is knowing, okay, we need to call this method. Why? Because we have passed 3 arguments, 10, 20 and 30. You can see here A, B and C. It is automatically taking these values. So based on the argument, number of arguments we pass, compiler is knowing, okay, we need to call this method. So let's say if we keep only 2 arguments, then now see, here it is no usages, here it is 1 usages. So compiler is automatically detecting which method to call based on arguments passed. This is the concept of method overloading. During compile time only, compiler will know what? Which method to call. Okay, so this is the concept of overloading. Okay, let's take one more example. I will comment this. Okay, let's run and see the output. We will not get any output. Why? Because we are just calling the method. We are not nowhere storing, nothing, nowhere printing. Okay, so let's print this one. Okay, so in print statement only we can do this thing. Okay, we are calling and it will return, and the return value will get print. Let's verify. See, the output is 30. 10 plus 20. It is calling this method. You can see 1 usage. It is calling one method and returning 30, and we are printing that value. Okay, now let's take one more example. Yeah, I will comment this one. Now let's say void. This time I am taking return type as void display. Then I'm doing nothing. I'm just printing that no parameters. Okay, in this method we don't have parameters, right? So I'm just printing no parameters. Then again I am defining one more method, void display and this time I'm asking one parameter. Okay, there will be one parameter, and I will do nothing. I will just print the value whatever I am getting, name. Okay, now I am defining one more method with the same name. Focus on the method name and the method parameter. Okay, now this time I will ask for three parameters: string name, int age, comma, let's say. Okay, 2 is fine. So this time I will take two parameters. What I will do with those two parameters? I will simply print name plus, let's say, age. Okay, so what we are doing in these three methods, okay, I will comment this out, the previous one. So you can see this is one method. What is the method name? Display. This is another method. What is the method name? Display. This is another method. What is the method name? Display. Now focus on the parameters. How many parameters do we have here? 0. That's why I'm printing no parameters. How many parameters do we have in this one? 1. So the value name I am printing. In the third method, I am taking two parameters, name and age, and I am printing name and age. So this is method overloading. Same method name with different parameters. 0 parameter, 1 parameter, 2 parameter. It can be any number of parameters. Okay. Now, if I call the method display simply, then which method will get called? Which method will be called? Since we are not passing any parameter, it will call this method with no parameters. See here, one usage. Here no usage, no usage. Usages means somewhere in the code this method is being called. Okay. So here we are calling, that's why it is showing one usage. And let's say if we print, okay, let's run the program and verify. See here, no parameters. That means which method is called? This one. Now we will pass one method. We'll pass one argument. What argument? Name. Okay, Vicky. Which method will be called? You can see from usages only. See, we have passed one parameter, so this method is getting called. Let's verify. See, Wiki. Output is Wiki. And color also you can see. The method which is getting called, the changes to IntelliJ changes to blue, and the remaining one it is keeping somewhat gray. No usages, no usages. But we verified by executing the program. Now let's say I am passing age also. Wiki, comma, let's say 20. Now which method will be called? See, one usages, blue in color. So this method is getting called. Why? Because compiler is trying to match the arguments. Number of argument is 2 here, number of parameter is 2. Let's verify by running program also. So see, in the output it is printing name and age, Wiki and 20. So this is the most common type of method overloading. Okay, each method has a different number of parameters. Here see, each method has different number of parameters. So this is method overloading. Okay, we'll see some more examples. We'll comment this out. Now let's say we will define some more methods. Static void. What is the return type? Void. What is the method name? Print. This time I'm taking one parameter, int number, and I will do nothing. I will just simply print the number. So this is what one method. Okay, now we'll define one more method, same return type, void, same method name, print, and this time I'm changing the return data type of the parameter. So instead of double int, we will take double. Okay, double number, and we will print number. Focus on the method. What are the similarities? What are the difference? Okay, void is the return type. Method name is print. Okay, now instead of double, let me take a string, and let's say some text. Now what I will do, I will simply print the text. So if you analyze these three methods, are method name same for all the methods? Print, print, print. See? Okay. Now, how many number of parameters they are having? One parameter, one parameter, one parameter. But what is the difference in these three methods? If method name is same, number of parameters is same, then what is the difference here in all the three methods? The difference is the data type, the parameter data type. See, here we are using int, here we are using double, and in the last method it is a string. So number of parameters are same for all three methods, but the data type is different. So this is also one of the example of method overloading. Method name is same, number of parameter is also same, but the data type is different in all the methods. Now let's call the method print. Now let's say we are passing 20. Now tell me which method will be getting called. Why this method is not calling? I provided 20, right? Why it is calling this method? I provided argument, I am passing argument as 20, and which method is getting called? This one. How? One usages. We can verify by calling also, okay? Running the program. But my question is why this method is not getting called, or why this method is not getting called. So this method will not call since the data type is a string value and we are not passing any string. So it is clear, okay, this method will not call. Now the question comes, why this method is not getting called? So it is double type now, and we are passing what? Int. I hope you know the difference of double and int. Okay. So let me run first. We will verify this, then we'll go to double. Okay. So let's run. So since we are passing integer value, it is calling the first method and it is printing 20. Now in order to invoke this method, which is of double type, we need to pass double value 20.0. Now see which method is getting called. See here, one usages. It is blue in color. Let's verify it. See the output 20.0. It is of double type, so it is calling. So the compiler, during compile time, it is identifying the method name and the second data type. What is the data type of the arguments which is getting passed? Okay. Now let's say the third overloading method, I will pass string. See, one usages. Let's verify. What happened? Okay. See, in the output it is weak. So we have seen method overloading with different number of parameters, 0 parameter, 1 parameter and 2 parameters. We have seen method overloading with same number of parameters but different in data types. Okay, now we will see another type of method overloading. Let's say static void. So int id comma name. I'm just taking two parameters, id and name, and I'm doing nothing. I'm just printing id plus name. Okay, so likewise here we are going just to provide a space. Okay, this is string value, so id and name will be there in between spaces. That's why we are giving like this. Now we will define another method, static void. So we know the rule of method overloading, right? Method name should be same. Now string name comma int id, and I will do nothing. I will print simply name plus id. Okay, I will take only these two methods. So analyze these two methods. What is happening here? You check the method name. Method name is what? Same, right? So this is the example of method overloading. Now method name is same, but can you identify any difference here in these two methods? How many number of parameters? Number of parameter is 2, number of parameter is 2. Okay. Now check the data types. What is the data type of this one? Int. What is the data type of this one? String. What is the data type of here? String and then int. So we can see there is a reverse in the order. Here we are providing first int, then string. And in the second method, we are providing first string, then second int. Second parameter as int. So the data types are same in both the methods, but the order is different. So this is also one of the method overloading. Now let's call the method. How do we call the method? By method name. So let's say I will pass 10 comma wiki. So which method is getting called? See, one usage is, since I provided integer value first and string value second, compiler is trying to find which method has having integer value as first parameter and string value as second parameter. So it identified, okay, this method. So it will execute this method. So it will print id first and then name second. Let's verify. So in the output, you can see id is first and then name is second. And if we do reverse, we'll provide name first and then id second. Then which method will be called? See here, compiler changes to second method. Why? Because we are passing a string in the first parameter and id in the second. Let's verify. So see, in the output we can see it is printing first name then id. So this method is getting called. So here both methods have parameters. The data types are same, but the order is different. So this is also considered as method overloading. So we have seen three types of method overloading. How? First one is what? Method names is same, but number of parameters are different. Number of parameters are different. And in the second example, we have seen method names are same. Number of parameters are also same, but the data type of parameters are different. This was second type of method overloading. The third type of method overloading, method name is same, parameters are also same, data type are also same, but the orders are different. Orders of what? Orders of parameters. First int then string. In the second method, first string then int. So these are the various types of what? Method overloading. Okay. So we have also seen how compiler will find out which method to call. So based on the arguments we are passing. Okay. So based on the argument we are passing, the compiler will choose which method to execute. Now let's read the rules of method overloading. So what are the rules of method overloading? Valid overloading. Valid means it is following rules. Okay. So different number of parameters we have seen just now in the examples. Method names will always be same. Okay. Overloading means what? Method name will always be same. Okay. Keep in mind overloading. Method name is same. Then what second condition we need to check? That is different number of parameters. This is we are seeing valid overloading. Okay. Different number of parameters. Method name is same, but number of parameters are different. It can be 1, it can be 2 in different method. Okay. This is one type of method overloading. What is another type of method overloading? Method name is same, but the data types are different. Now third type of method overloading. Method name is same, but different orders of parameter. We have seen an example. Int string in the first method. In the second method it was a string, then int. So order of parameter can be vary. Okay. So these are what? Valid overloading. What is invalid? Which is not allowed, which is not accepted in as method overloading. When we try to change return type of the method, we should not change any return type of the method for method overloading. If we change the return type of method, return type should not be changed. Okay, if you are changing method type, then it means it is invalid. So these are the rules of method overloading. If we try to do multiple examples, you will see. So let me show you one example for this return type invalid. Okay, so let's say static. I am defining one method. Return type is int in this method. Okay, add int a comma int b. Now what I am doing, I will just return a plus b. This is first method. Now I am defining second method. Int add int a comma int b and return a plus b. Now instead of return type as int, so what you will think? Okay, method overloading means method name is same. Now we will change the return type and this will be treated as method overloading. But this is not valid method overloading example. We should not change the return type of the method if we are keeping method name same. Return type should be same. That's why it is throwing compilation error. Okay, so although the return type is different, the parameter list is exactly the same. So Java will not allow this. So in order to achieve method overloading, we should keep return type as same, but we can change the number of parameters, number of data types, or whatever. But return type should be same. Okay. See, now it is accepting no compilation error. Why? Method names are same and return types are also same, and parameters and data types, these are different. So this will count as method overloading. If we try to change the return type, then it will be invalid overloading. Okay. Now, so main is also one of the method, right? Main is also one of the method, and we keep on saying, okay, this is entry point of the application, this is a starting point of application. Correct. Now, you might be thinking, can we overload this method also? Because this is also one of the method. Why can't we overload this method? You might be thinking like that. So let's try to overload this method also. Okay, I will comment the above example. So our focus will be on only one method. So we are trying to overload main method. This can be one of the interview question. Can we overload main method also? So let's see. So I will keep the return type same because valid overloading. Now method name will also be same. But the parameter data type we can change, number of parameter we can change. Let me change the the data type. What I will do in this method, I will do nothing. I will just print X. That's it. See, it is allowing method overloading. It is not throwing any compilation error. That means we did the method overloading. Method name is same, return type is same, but the data type is different. Here it is int, here it is string array. So this is the example of method overloading. So the answer to this question, can we overload main method? The answer is the main method can be overloaded. Yes, we can overload main method. Why and how? Because the JVM always start execution from main start method, and the overloaded version has different data type in this example. Okay, so this will be picked up by JVM automatically, but this will be picked by manually by compiler. Okay, I hope this question is answered. So method overloading we will see in some real life examples. Okay, think of a smartphone camera. You press the same capture button, but depending on the selected mode, it performs different actions. Okay, this is one of the real life examples. So similarly, same method name, in the above examples we have seen, the same method name performs different tasks based on the parameters. So what is method overloading? Method overloading is using the same method name but with a different parameter list. It can be different parameters, it can be different data types, it can be same parameter, same data type, but the order can be reversed, order can be changed. Okay, so let's quickly summarize what we have learned so far. Okay, so we have seen in this video what is method overloading, why it is used, how we can overload by number of parameters, the change in data type or the order of parameters, what are the rules of overloading, what are the invalid cases, invalid examples. We have also seen the overloading of main method. So that's all for this video. I hope this tutorial helped you understand what is method overloading in Java. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.